Hey everyone. I wanted to just hop on today and give you guys an update about my journey here. This is my last week in Austin. So I'm in the middle of like all the things, right? Like selling all my stuff, trying to, fine tune the details of putting other stuff in storage and closing up here. And without a permanent residence for a while, getting a PO box and all of like the little things that you need to do to keep yourself together. So that's the space that I'm in. And there's a lot, when you go through major changes, and first of all, as many of you have heard me say, this is something I've done so many times. In fact, I was calculating in my brain today how many different cities I've lived in my life, and there's 11 cities. And then within each of those cities, I moved around more than necessary. So this is not new to me, but it's funny because I know that a lot of people, making a move like how I'm doing it, it would be a major deal. And so I wanted to just kind of take you guys along because I know that it can be helpful to see it done, especially as a woman doing this by myself. I know for a lot of women, it just feels like almost impossible or, too much for you to do on your own. And what I always find in these major transitional periods of my life is more myself, more life. Like there's so many codes and so much magic that's present in these kinds of processes when you choose greatness, when you choose the highest timeline without it even being fully formulated yet. And then how much support comes in beyond what you can try to plan for or, book or whatever else. Like I feel so supported through these transitional periods. I trust my path and I trust myself so much. And I trust that I'm not, albeit, by myself, I'm not in it alone, right? Like I have so much padding in my spiritual team and with my angels that it's never like I'm in this by myself. And so, moving through all of the processes, and one thing I will say, and that makes this time a little bit different than other times, is that I am definitely and have been in the intention setting of being a little bit more grounded, because all this moving is, on some level, it gets kind of annoying over time. And I'm just in a phase of my life where I'm ready to, root more and nest more and build a family and all of those things. And so, doing it this time after I kind of had already opened that intention for myself, I felt some resistance. And so I had to sit with that, right? And I know I've talked about resistance here before, and many of you kind of asked me to go into resistance a little bit. So just to give you a little kind of real time context for me, and how do I discern what is resistance, kind of what is my brain getting in the way, and what is actually, my life or my timeline slowing me down or telling me not to make the move yet or whatever else. And, to me, resistance, I now know the energetics of resistance. So, it is very much an energy versus receiving the information or the context of my reality being like, this is not the right way to do things, right? Like there's such a difference between the two. And I think it really comes down to the energy of it. Because to me, resistance means I'm kind of looping over something in my head. I'm like, I can feel it like kind of primarily in my belly, just like I'm not wanting to do this. I'm like coming up with all the reasons, doing all the questioning, like all of that to me is resistance. And it goes back to the, video I did for you guys talking about the difference between knowing when danger is present and feeling fear. It's sort of the same type of discernment, right? Because to me, if my life was slowing me down, I would get obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. That is not resistance, right? That's life being like, you are making the wrong move, and that will happen. Absolutely. Like if you've aligned yourself with a decision that is not the highest decision for your path is going to put obstacles. And now there's more discernment there, right? Because also, as you align with the higher timeline, you still will attract obstacles in, but it will be more to test your commitment to what you have decided on. So there's so much nuance here, and I'm not going to do it all justice in this video. I'll do another one later about resistance because I think it's a really powerful topic. Because when I have felt the most resistance to something, and it being just purely resistance, it has come just before one of the most major periods, transitions, or seasons of my life. So my own resistance, now that I can identify it as resistance, and the ways that I kind of check and mark that, says actually it helps me get even more excited, because if I'm feeling it heavy, I know that I'm sort of like treading into what I know will be an absolutely powerful, monumental shift and change in my life, or conversation or phone call, or, whatever I'm about to do that I'm feeling this major resistance towards, I can overcome it now with excitement, because usually, again, the resistance to me is indication that I'm moving into something that's going to be absolutely major. And so that's what I had to do in this, because I was feeling some resistance primarily last week. I had a phone call with a friend, and he totally helped me reconfigure how I was looking at things, because in my mind, I'm ready to settle down a bit more. I don't want to be moving all this time. I want to find a more solid home base. And I was kind of attaching to that. So my mind was trying to go to, where am I going to go? Even though the next few months are mapped out for me, but I don't have a solid landing place yet. And so, all he did was shift away from needing to know where I'm headed and set me back into just being fully in the flow. And, that minor mental adjustment totally released the resistance, and then put me back into just feeling good and feeling excited, and, kind of giving myself permission to not need to know. Most people don't make major moves and don't know where they're going. So again, I'm kind of an anomaly here, but all in all, anytime you're making a major shift in your life and you're questioning it, you're looping over sort of the same storyline or the same question or the same concerns in your head, that to me is resistance. When you feel your body's kind of it's almost sort of preparing, but in a way that feels like you're pushing up against it, that to me is resistance. If it's, your life, changing things or showing you a different way, or, again, I see people make plans and then suddenly there's this obstacle, their flight gets canceled. This doesn't happen. To me, I'm you should look at that. Usually detour from the higher power is more external than it is that kind of full energetic resistance that you'll feel towards certain things. And so I remain very open to that. Obviously, there's a number of things I need to get done before I need to leave, like selling all of my stuff. And so that's a piece, right? To me, if nothing sold, I would sit with that. I would look at that, right? I would still have, then symbolically, I would still have a full home here, maybe that means I'm not supposed to go. I remain open to all possibilities, even as I align myself with what I believe I'm doing in this moment. But so far that hasn't been the case. And things have, of course, been sold super easily, and everything has been super seamless. Everything has come together, even in better ways than I could have planned for. So all of the things, all green lights so far, So that's how also helped me identify my energy experience as resistance versus, maybe my intuition trying to tell me something, not to make the move or whatever it is. So that's where I've been at. This will probably be one of the last times you guys see me in this setup, because I am leaving this week upcoming. And another shift that I had to do was even around my channel, because as you all know, this is brand new to me, and I'm committed to this. I'm in it with you guys, and so I obviously want to prioritize this because it feels like something important that I'm doing. And so again, I was well, I have my place set up. I've already got things going here, and my friend was but you don't understand that there's actually probably more excitement and more joy and the details of divinity that will be added as you make these major changes and you take your channel with you, right? So it's just all about how you're looking at things. I think a lot of resistance, if you can collapse your resistance by simply changing your mind, that usually means it's resistance. So now I'm just in the flow. I feel excited now, as you can tell. Looking forward to this. It feels good. Everything's, in perfect motion. I have everything set up for the week, everything I need to do. And I'm out of here this week, and I will be headed to Maui. So you guys will see me on tropical island time here pretty soon. And just staying totally open to the flow. I feel so excited. And that to me is indication, that I'm heading in the right direction, and everything, just for when it's always green lights, that's how I know that I'm making the right decision. So when you make major decisions, when you're in these processes, your mind's going to wonder and question and what if, and, of course, we're human, it does do that. Even the most masterful of minds still get in their own way at times. But at the same time, it brings you so much aliveness. I think this is one of the reasons I am in such cycle of change, not to mention Scorpio vibes, but on top of that, I love change. I do so good in change because it really brings me this added sense of aliveness and excitement. I love the unknown. I even love uncertainty. I love not knowing all the things, because I know that what I don't know is going to be filled in with such great detail and amazingness and miracles. And that's always the case. And I look forward to that. And I think that helps facilitate manifest that. So I'm just in the middle and center of deep, massive change. And I feel great about it. I feel really great about it. I trust my path and I trust my life and I trust myself so much that, nothing can really rock me when I'm in these periods. I've never even talked about them much before, as many times as I've done this. So it's cool for me to be able to share with you guys and encourage you guys to make the changes, man. Like, make the changes. Stagnancy and comfort zone energy in your life is going to keep you from your greatness. And, it's okay to not move all the time. Like, I'm OD with it. I get that. But, just staying the same and 9 to 5 it every day, and your life looks exactly the same, and you look forward to the weekends and, dread work, like that type of life to me is like, I hate to hear it. I hate to hear it, because I know we're all destined for greatness. I know that every single one of our destiny timelines is written with the greatness of ink, right? Like, we're all aligned in that direction. And so if we pull ourselves out of normalcy and complacency and mediocrity, right, then we open ourselves to the expansiveness of just the full life experience. And if there's one thing I can offer to anybody, the full life experience is where it's at. Like, I live on the edge of my comfort zone. I live on the edge of my growth patterns. I live on the edge of what's possible and plausible. And it brings me so much joy. It has carried me like a magic carpet my whole entire life. So if you're considering change, you're thinking about, or maybe even you just want to take a trip and travel, maybe you're a solo traveler, or you have someone to go with, or whatever it is, I encourage it, man. Like, let life light you up. There's so much more life to live than the basic normalcy of a 9 to 5 when you look forward to your weekends and hate getting up on Monday morning. Like, there's so much more life than that. So if maybe I'm talking to you to tell you, at least take the trip. If not, shift things up. Life is always on board to help you climb to your next tier. It's always on board. The second you even align your energy, your thoughts in that direction, life is like, let's go. So you have to be willing. You have to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to be willing to not know how it's going to go. You have to be willing to let go of control for life to just absolutely outstand and amaze you. And it will, every single time. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. Look forward to sharing more. I will definitely keep you guys updated. Please let me know if you have any questions or you want to know more about anything in particular as I go along here, but you guys are coming with me now. We're committed. So here we go. See you guys soon.